Hello and welcome to this Black History Month Quiz Academy video. Like we did with International Women's Day, here are some questions about Black history that perhaps don't get asked enough about. So, here we go. What name is given to the skull of the first major homonym discovered in Africa, which was found in Zambia in 1921 and later identified as Homo heidelbergensis? Dating to around 7500 BCE, Nabda Playa in southern Egypt is the location of the world's oldest remaining example of what type of construction? Which king united the states of the Gurzean culture and conquered Lower Egypt to mark the beginning of Egypt's dynastic age? Which people originally from the Benue Cross River Basin in eastern Nigeria and western Cameroon migrated southwards from around 2000 BCE, spreading their culture and language throughout Africa? The so-called rule of the 5 black pharaohs in Egypt in the 8th and 7th centuries BCE was a result of Egypt's conquest by which Nubian kingdom? What name, thought to be derived from a Nubian word meaning mud brick building, is given to the massive temples built in the city-state of Kerma, Nubia, that are the only remaining examples in existence? Xoscales was a 1st century CE king of which kingdom that extended from modern-day Ethiopia to Yemen? The now toppled Great Stela was at 33 metres high, believed to be the world's largest piece of monumental stone. In 850, Tekrur was the first West African kingdom to convert to which religion? Flourishing from around 750 to 1500 CE along the 2,000-mile coastline from Somalia to Mozambique are the remnants of around 400 settlements known collectively as the Wat city-states. They're named after a language and culture whose name means people of the coast. What is the name of the Swahili epic about a heroic figure and his struggles to claim his birthright? While almost invulnerable, he is killed by his son using a copper pin to the navel. At its peak, between the 9th and 11th centuries CE, which West African empire emerged from the Wagadu kingdom that had established trade routes exchanging gold for salt? What name was given to the Bantu-speaking East Africans who were enslaved by Arab traders and sold to the Abbasid Caliphate, where, between 869 and 883, they revolted, established a new city and conquered Basra? It weakened the Abbasids and led to their abandonment of large-scale plantation slavery in the Caliphate. Ethiopian Jews known as Beta Israel were, according to the 9th century Ethiopian Jewish merchant Eldad Haldani, descended from which of the lost tribes of Israel? Staying with Ethiopia, what's the holy language of Ethiopia, in which the Ethiopian Jewish version of the Torah, the Orit, as well as Christian texts were written? Nicknamed the Lion of Mali, who conquered Kumbisala, the capital of the Empire of Ghana, in 1240 and incorporated it into the Mali Empire? In West African oral tradition, the demise of the Empire of Ghana is explained as being caused by the killing of which snake that supplied the nation's gold and ensured rains came? The Gao Empire, that prospered for 3 centuries from the early 11th century until it was conquered by the Mali Empire, was a precursor to which empire of the 15th and 16th centuries? The Mutapa Empire, that ruled a vast territory covering modern-day Zimbabwe, Zambia, Mozambique and South Africa, ruled through regional leaders known by what title? Soapstone birds discovered in the ruins of a city that is now a World Heritage Site appear on the flag of which country that takes its name from the city? The longest ruling dynasty in African history was which dynasty of the Kanem Empire that ruled from the 11th century until the 19th century? Sharing his name with a brand of spring water, who overthrew the Ogiso dynasty of Benin in the late 12th century, but in turn was deposed when the Council of Edo chiefs invited the city of Ife to send a prince to rule over them and established the Oba dynasty. Sundiata of Mali was the first king to be given which title, which means sultan or emperor? Mansa Musa, the king of Mali's 14th century golden age, used his fabulous wealth to form the Sankara Madrasa in which city, as a centre of Islamic scholarship and home to Africa's finest library? The name of which people, currently the largest ethnic group of sub-Saharan Africa, means blue men, a reference to the indigo-coloured cotton cloth produced in Kano and Reno from the 14th century onwards? Which sultanate, based in a namesake city on the Horn of Africa, established diplomatic relations and the first African presence in China during the reign of the early 15th century Ming Emperor Liyongo? In return, a fleet under Songhai was sent to the sultanate. Which people who live in Kenya and Tanzania, having migrated southwards from South Sudan from the 15th century onwards, believe that their supreme god Enkai sent cattle from the heavens via a bark rope and consequently placed cattle in a central position in their culture? In 1539, Afonso, the Manicongo, or King of Congo, petitioned Pope Clement VII asking the Pope to control the slave trade, and the following year was the subject of an assassination attempt by agents of which European slave trading power whilst he attended Easter Mass. The Songhai Empire suffered a decisive defeat at the 1591 Battle of Tondibi, at which they attempted to stampede the invading Moroccan army with 1,000 of which animals, only to find the animals were scared by the Moroccan guns and cannons and returned to cause havoc in the Songhai lines. The so-called Cobbing controversy was a historiographical challenge to the apartheid-era view that Zulu militarism in the early 19th century under Shaka caused which period of upheaval in southern African history, known by a name meaning crushing and scattering. And finally, what is the name of the annual festival in which the Great Mosque of Jannah, made of adobe and the largest mud building in the world, is repaired after the rainy season by volunteers coating the walls with clay? Those are your 30 questions. How did you do? They're tough, right? Some of them are tough, some you might know. The answers are all in the description. Whether you knew them or didn't know them, we just hope that you enjoyed this video and perhaps learned something from it. Let's remember that the quizzing canon is not set in stone, we can expand it, and part of what we're trying to do here in Black History Month is bring subjects to the table that perhaps get overlooked. And if you want to learn more about Black history, you could do worse than buying this book. It was one of the main sources that we used for this video, and a link is in the description below. Thanks for watching this video, and if you enjoyed us, perhaps you might enjoy this video up here.